Okay, we've done 1 minute, we've done 3 minutes now. Let's do 5 minutes. So a match first of 5, say. This could be a long video, but often the games are going to be quicker than like the maximum 10 minutes. So a match against the 5 minute auto pairing on the ICC. That would be interesting. I think recently I've been caned anyway on the 5 minute auto pairing. It'd be interesting if I'm sort of making it into a virtual tournament section. Maybe I'll be more keen to try harder. Okay, so we just had that 3 minute victory against the auto pairing, and there was a lucky at the moment, but the 5 minutes going to be pretty tough if I can get a game. What's going on? Quite well. Okay, Girok, a lower rated person to start off with. Let's try and block this bishop, I think. Okay, bishop's kind of hemmed in on b2. Ironclad grip on d4 here. For the moment, anyway. I use that for a kingside attack. So f5, f4, g5, knight g6, g4, f3 at some point. That's the plan. Okay, I'll reinforce this. Don't want to win a pawn or anything. Just reinforce the centre. Okay. Don't know about a5. Is that needed? I'm not sure that's needed. So I'll carry on. I won't give e4 for a knight. I'm just going to carry on this rolling plan of g5, knight g6, g4. Oh, with tempo. Okay. Do I take with the knight or bishop? I like my knight square bishop actually, so I'll keep the knight square bishop. And okay, he's got pressure on d6. I'll try and extend the scope of this bishop he takes to get e5. Then there'll be a frontal attack against e4 as well. Okay. Okay, I'll play for g4. Try and dislodge this bishop and maybe f3. So takes, I'm on the e file. Yeah, the commentary again is more detailed here, of course, for a 5 minute game. So you never know, maybe I'll do a longer time control for a laugh, you know, first to 3 on the 10 minute, just as an experiment. But here, okay, so g4 and f3, maybe taking then f3 looks crushing, actually. Taking on e4 after bishop e2. So I've got the rook support for f3. That looks pretty crushing. There's no intermediate takes because takes I'm attacking the queen. Right, so here, if I just take, then knight f3 check. Looks pretty grim fight, but instead of winning the exchange, how about just queen e7, if rook h1, queen h4. But then I'm threatening lots of things like knight f2 and rook f2, maybe even bishop out. So I'm going to keep the knight on f3 basically. I think it's only a blitz game. I think in a blitz game sometimes pressure is more important than taking material. So here it looks again crushing. So really this knight h2 looks like end of game. Or rook h1, rook h2, rook f2, end of game. So rook f2 looks crushing. Right, imagine bishop e1 now. I suppose queen h3 could be dangerous. Or is it g3? Okay, so there's queen h3 here. Or I could just take that maybe here. Rook h2 though. Okay, I think I'll just take with the rook just to maintain rook f2 and also double up the rooks. There's also g3. If queen e1, maybe move the point of that. Queen e1 or bishop e1. Okay, he's just gone in for that. Okay, so it's 1-0. Next game on the 5 minute auto pairing. Or quick overview and summary first, or while we're waiting. So there's a bind on d4, won a pawn, just played for f3. Okay, I didn't want to play knight e1, I wanted to keep the knight. It seems dangerous. And this little deflection, well, sort of what's that? Clearance sack just to clear for f2. Okay. Right, so there's a bit of a delay getting another game at the moment. White didn't really generate much counterplay on the queen side here, actually, if you look at this. It's very locked in. Maybe d3 is not needed. Maybe, you know, white should, okay. So knight, king raider. Let's play a French, I think. Okay, so I think bishop e7. Right. Trying to undermine d4 now. Maybe g5 actually. I'll just drop that without maybe intending to. I could have maybe played g5 immediately. Just trying to undermine d4 here. So I take and queen b6. Okay. Let's hold that pawn for a sec. And f6 and just oh, it's bishop g6. But it's sort of decentralised, that bishop g6. I'm not sure it's that big deal. Maybe king g7, rook f8 and an exchange sack on f3 pretty soon after. Get the f file pressure, knight h5 to f4. But I think basically rook f3 is pretty dangerous usually in the French. Just try and, oh, let's not get mated here though. So knight e4 first. That'll be the target. I think bishop e8. Hopefully not getting mated yet. Maybe kick this queen with knight b4. Just a waste of our time going back. Okay. Away from there. What about getting rid of the light square bishop? Just bishop g6. Just in case that battery is going to repeat. I think I'll get rid of that. At the expense of the king coming forward. Oops, just blundered the rook. Okay, let's blunder the rook he's playing on. Well, the plan here, knight e4 looks easy. I mean, a rook up is okay. No need to get complacent though. I suppose overly complacent. It's only a 5-minute game. So if I just try and calmly increase the space with g4, h4, the f file dynamic's still there. Okay, so g5 is still covered with the bishop anyway, as well as the knight. Okay, can simplify. Maybe taking on c3 or taking on g3. Maybe g3 weakens the diagonal. So there is bishop c5. We're just taking. So I want to just wait for a check. King g7. It's all over really. What about bishop g5? I says thanks. Okay, that was his only 12 provision. He's provisional. So on to okay. 2-0 at the moment, but could change with this game. Not she know. Okay, his pace is natural, it seems. What is thinking here? So f4. Have I got any attacking prospects here, or is he going to just wipe me out with f6? Could expose my weaknesses with f6. I don't know about that. maybe c4 to play d4, e4. Okay. This isn't looking good. This and these, this nice harmony in black's position. Nevertheless, this looks better now. Something like Queen F2 and Bishop G3. What about Queen G4? Queen G4 for E5, and then maybe takes maybe F5. That looks like if I can keep control of the E4 square over piece, that might be an interesting idea. E5 takes F5. Maybe just Queen G4 first. Okay, looks nice. Does E5 need to be a sack? Okay, I can't take the queen. F5, I'm giving up. E5, blocking in that bishop though, so maybe F5. This bishop doesn't look too healthy. There's G5, bishop G3, and then H4, E5 later. I think H4 is looking good. E5 is almost looking really good as well. It's going to play H5, so I have to maybe stop that. I'll play bishop F3 to keep hold of E4 here. I'll have to take on E5. Can't allow such a big knight. I really want my knight on D3. How can I get it there without losing C4? Okay, I mean, I'll go for this anyway. So I've got H5 under control. How about just King F2 and Rook H1? Play King F. Oh, there's Bishop H5 as well potentially. So King F2 and Rook H1. Interesting. Oh, he's on the run. Couldn't I just take on H7? I know it's pedantic, but it gives me squares like Bishop H5. Okay, so Knight F3 now. Because if it takes, I've always got Rook E1. That looks crushing. Okay, I wouldn't exchange there. Because F6 looks crushing. Is this king going to venture up further? Aha. Really? So, okay, there's danger now for Queen G3, and if King D6, E5, there's a pin. So I can just play E6, but then I suppose he's got blockade. So on the other hand, if I play EF, I'm sort of lifting up blockades. I think I'll just play this. I don't want his queen on this diagonal using the G file, particularly. I can get rook to the 7th, maybe I'll just get this pawn going. Oh, that's G4 hand, bishop E3, king H2, rook H8, G4 might be needed. Oh, is this getting hairy? If I can just get F7 then. Uh-oh. There's bishop G4 on the cards. So what about just check for the moment? And then king G3. So I'm still holding the possibility of F7. F7 and rook G8. F7. It will be with check and then rook G8. Otherwise G5. This looks crushing. Check and then there's rook G8. Still blockading on F8. Can I lift this blockade finally? Nope. Okay. If king moves, then I'll play G5. It must be feeling the pressure now. G5. I'll just get the king in on this bishop H6. I could get mated. Right, G5 and bishop G4. So rook F4, king G4, and I'll play bishop G4 next. Otherwise also g6 is looking pretty menacing. So bishop g4 here. If king f7, bishop e6, if rook f7, rook e6. He resigned. I think he's a good high rating there. Apparently professional poker player. He's been up to 2442 on this auto pairing. So, okay. What's going on then? So on the 5 minutes so far, I've just won 3 straight games. It's because of my rating, really. I think my low rating at the moment, relatively though, that's possible that I can get a streak. So that was an interesting battle of squares and stuff. So Kevin King. Now someone's messaged me on YouTube earlier today about a more aggressive treatment of this with a quicker f5. I don't know about here. I think I'd like to play bishop c4 still, but apparently it's maybe instead of the a3 system, just a quick f5. Maybe e6 f5 would worry black. He hasn't played e6. Okay. Okay, king h1 for bishop e3, and then there's knight g4, bishop g1. I can tuck the bishop away. I don't know if that's too positional for this. He could strike with d5, with e6 and d5. Tempted. Okay, what about just bishop e3 here? Still got control of d5 without e6 at the moment. That bishop's roaming free, pinning that pawn. It could be that f5's an interesting move coming up. Or what about just queen d2 just to keep hold of c2, then to f2, then to h4. That's another idea. Okay. So here, I'll tuck the bishop, this one over here. So, I don't know, rook c1, then I could get the queen to h4 without worrying about this guy c2, keep the pin on f7, wait for f5. If the queen was there, that would be almost the juicy position. So rook c1, queen e1 to h4, then f5. Mind you, the bishop's kind of misplaced here. It's not usually just staring at d4, it's usually helping to get rid of that bishop on d4. Oh, he's going to play f5. I should have really played f5 there, maybe. That was an option. Mind you, bishop being here, d4 pressure is higher than usual. So what about something like e5? Could take on f3. If I kick this guy first, then queen h4. Okay, there's always e5. What about just, okay, e5 here? I'll give it a go. Because this taking is at the expense of that lovely knight on d4. Mind you, e5 will be vulnerable. There's always bishop h2 maybe to protect e5 later. I guess he'll take, but then c5 is also a target. If he doesn't know, e6 might be tempting. There's always bishop c8 or something. Okay, so is e5 vulnerable? Is it going to be like bishop h2 to the rescue? If bishop h2, I can still play queen h4 later. So he's blocked that. And there was also knight f5 introduced, so I think I'll play this anyway. Because knight f5, bishop f4. I could block this bishop with knight e4 and lose that e5 pawn for queen h4, hitting the knight, which could then go to f5. But that e6 actually is supported by this bishop anyway. If there's any point of that bishop, why not here? Just taking on f4, there's knight h4, this would be so vulnerable. So e6 and then maybe knight e4, just to try and safeguard f3. Is it going to let me safeguard f3 with knight e4? So knight d4, knight e4. Okay, safeguarding f3 for the moment, and then there might be queen h4 for knight g5. Or should I evict that knight first with c3? Evict the knight, knight f5. No, the queen can't go to h4. So I'm a bit stuck here. I think this was maybe a passive plan in retrospect. If I take with the d pawn, the f pawn, does that offer any advantage? F pawn, actually f pawn seems better. Just to repair structure a bit. Get that measly pawn off. If f3, it doesn't seem that big a deal. Okay, that could be a problem. Losing that pawn, but this bishop on the other hand's got scope. So something like queen, no, queen f2 and d4. It's got d4 under control. Queen h4 is probably ineffectual. Knight g5 is probably a menacing threat for h3. So there are some problems, for sure. Queen e2 though. Queen e2. Does I get g4? If there's rook f3, there's knight g5. He's getting a bit short on time now. Okay, so I don't know. Blockade with the queen, there's knight g5. And queen g4. So there's no knight g5 with tempo. Actually, I'm hitting e6. Very good move. Probably hitting e6. It looks like a good move. Now d4. Trying to introduce a pin. Because of bishop g1, you can always play e5. So why not just bishop g1 first, and d4. Okay, so d4 here, knight g3, king g2, take on f1. Okay, so what about bishop f2 then? Prophylaxis again. Alright, so if I take, just try and play on the light squares. This light square bishop is good. But he takes on f1 to win d3. Ouch. So I have to take with the king. Alright. I can't let the battery happen. So d4 here takes. Okay. Alright, just hang on. Block d-file. That's good for d3. Oh, that's comfortable. Now I've got the f-file. Pressure building up. Okay, h4 here. h4 maybe. Try and put him under pressure. Or c4 would reinforce the position a bit. I think he's cracking out here. I've got this idea that I've got potential now, like rook h1 for subtleties like queen h5. 25 seconds left, and he's offering a draw, so I think he's in panic mode. Okay, I can trying to get queen b2, very nice. Queen b2. Okay, let's think about this. So e5. If queen e5, queen h7, if bishop e5, bishop e4. So I think I'll hang on, there's rook d5. That'd be a quick way of losing. Alright. How do I do this? Get the king to g4 in the safety zone so there's no check. It's crazy. I'll take this. Okay, now something with the rook. What about d4 here, blocking the diagonal? d4, of course. Okay. So now, okay, the back row, so king f3 here might actually be good to encourage for queen c8, rook b2, queen c8. Uh-oh. There's rook h7 tactic. It looks to be winning. Technical detail about rook f8. Okay, I think that's 4 against the ICC auto pairing. It's a very tough game there. It could be a whitewash, this match. And I'll probably lose all 5 next time I play because of the rating. So this was a tense game. The opposite colour bishops kind of sometimes favour the attacking player. Okay. So 4 out of 4 so far. Whoa. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just one more to go. Is it going to be hard to win this match 5-0? Send off for the auto pairing, didn't I? Sudo chess. As mentioned about live stream. Let's put just for YouTube. Okay. Okay. Who's on top players? Let's have a look at some top player games while we're waiting. So, which type of player can we follow? Observe Talev. GM has a dot. Does that mean he's playing? Okay, wow. Oops. 2503. So unless something amazing happens, I think statistically I'm a goner against such a rating. Yeah. Probably doesn't think much of the Elephant Gambit. Let's check his stats out. His 1 minute is impressive, which is a sign this guy is probably a very genuine, dangerous player. 1 minute 2-3-6-4. Yep, he's just winning a pawn for nothing. Centre pawn. Unless queen b5, there's a tiny bit of compensation, or not. So knight f6, king e7, knight e4, nothing. What about king, I don't know, king d8? Just to be able to put the rook on e8. If knight c3, bishop b4. Actually, knight c3. What about just queen takes b2? Okay. Interesting. So I've stopped him from castling. If queen e2. Actually, what about just queen f5? There's queen e4. Takes rook e8 and then f5. If knight e4, though, rook e8. Then there's f3. Bishop b4, queen b2. Don't look particularly great. Unless I'm missing something. Queen b4, c3. Go back to this queen f5 business. So queen f5, knight e4, rook e8, f3. There's not much compensation there. Queen f4. Then you can't castle either side. I'll go for that. So knight g4. Okay, get g file pressure. So knight e3, say queen f4, maybe g3. Queen a5, there's queen d2 I guess, or c3. Well, I think queen f4 anyway, just to create some sort of weakness, or just queen g5, castles at f5, and there's g3, f4. Okay, I think queen here. Can I get this rook into play, this one? Oh, it's castling that side. Okay, I have to castle queenside as well. Rook c7, the king could march over here so I can double up rooks. Okay, doesn't look that promising right now. Centre's coming down. Okay. That looks completely lost now. Oh, end of game. Maybe the French defence is more solid. So that's 4-1. I think he just played a very calm game against this Elephant Gambit. He just, what did he do? He just played bishop. This pin is just nasty. Yeah, swapped everything off. Better. Okay, so maybe Elephant Gambit needs to be abandoned against players over 2200 on this time control. So 4-1. He's made a little joke on his on his notes for who he is. Interesting. Okay. Right. So okay. Delay here. So who's this guy? His 1 minute's like 1793. I think it's actually is that blunder? Queen d4, takes knight b5. Is he getting his pawn back? There might be knight a6. If takes bishop b4, taking on d2, castle queenside. Okay, so stopping castling bishop b4, bishop d2 takes, then just knight a6. What about that? Okay, I'll give back the pawn for position. I think castle queenside, it looks nice. Oh, it did. Knight c5 hang to avoid structural damage. So knight f6, castle queenside. Actually, there's a tactic there. Knight e4 check. So okay, the knight's, which is useful actually positioning. I just want to provoke f3 anyway. Is it actually b6, b4? I'm going to sing c7 pawn. c7 pawn's a goner. Unless knight e6 takes. I'm on a2. I'll get rid of this centralised knight. So I'm hoping a bit of compensation, but I don't know. Play bishop b5. I'll give up these two pawns for rook d8, I think, and rook c8 could be dangerous. I hope. Okay, so knight d5 to b4. Knight d5 with tempo. Oh, there's rook b7, stopping knight b4. It's not particularly hot. Okay, so knight b6 though. As long as he's got knight d4s now. I'll try and just get his a pawn without giving him too much play. Bishop d5. Next, again, these strong knights are really kind of irritating in this game. Right on d4. Okay, so losing a7 now as well. Going to coordinate both rooks on a7. So that wasn't particularly hot. So he's got rook b takes a7. Okay. Bishop c4. Nope, that's ruled out. He's going to double up rooks on the c file. But I evict this guy. Maybe knight d6. Next. At least I'm stopping the battery on f7 at the moment. It's protected anyway at the moment, but e4 is going to chase it. So if we got rook c7, that would be like the end of game. Actually, b2 is under fire. I've just realised there might actually be some hope here if I can win b2. So rook c7, rook takes b2. Only a pawn down. So 2 pawns down. I hope. Okay, it's almost like rook d5 if he had rook c8. I'm going to take on g2 here though, because there's no back row issue. I think I'm going to take on g2. But I should really do something about my king back row weakness. There's also the deflection tactic on c8 at the moment anyway. Okay, if I just do this, get rid of that horrible knight, please. Get rid of that knight. That's definitely looks a lot rosier than before. In fact, rook takes d4 might be a threat. No, it's rook a8. So I think something like g6 would be handy. Okay, rook c8 here, and that's an arty pen, isn't it? Or is it that useful? We're just taking and then rook c8, and I'm always defending the back row with rook c8 again. I just take and just win a rook. No, I don't win a rook. Okay. Do I take here? That's the question. Is the endgame good enough? This knight's run out of squares, isn't it, after king d6? If I take g6, king d6. So, do I want to do that? What about just rook d8? But when again the knight, it might have actually knight g6 to e5 here. So I'll do that. King, just to keep the king a bit harassed with the 2 rooks and the knight. So knight g6 to e5. Well, once the rook's not on e5. Also, there's knight f4 potentially. If rook a5, there's rook d4 almost. No, takes is on c6. There's no knight c6 there. Okay, he's running short of time. Taking his time, this guy. Okay, I'll do something about my king. Give it a square to breathe. Right, so knight. There's almost. Knight e5 could be handy here. Okay, protects f7. Now, can I attack this knight on d4 somehow? So maybe rook g3, that's a useful one. Pinning the pawn, pin and win. If knight f5, I take on f4, f3 and f5. Knight f5, I take on f3. Check. Well, he's luxurious on time. Okay, I'm going to take on f3 here and protect f7. I'm protecting f7. Okay, and play rook, maybe rook to d1. Actually, I don't want to get mated with this pawn and the two rooks on h8, so I'm going to move this pawn 1 to give my king g6 if needed. Prophylaxis. Okay, now just play this to protect that pawn. Okay, looks as though I've got enough air for the king. Right, can I work on this pawn now? If I just play rook f4, attacking 2 pawns, it's down to 10 seconds. I could be winning against the auto pairing here, 5-1 in this session. With a bit of luck from here. Okay, so there's no threat of rook g6 yet. Can I just try and win e4 now? Oh, now he's playing very quick. For some reason. 3 pawns up. Okay, that was yeah, I don't know, odd. I was just worse. These knights kept appearing on d4 in this game with advantage. So somewhere he went badly wrong. Advantage went away. I started picking up his pawns. Okay, hope you enjoyed that match. That was more leisurely commentary. Again, comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much. Let's just have a quick look at the history. So that was just 1 loss there in that 5-minute session. So 1, 2, 3, 4, lost that me way out. Then okay. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much.